Greetings, fans and friends. We're really glad to have you here. I am, this is one of those conversations where when you look at who's in the room, you know Chris Miller needs to be quiet because there's a lot of people here that are doing impactful work, hugely impactful work every day in this space. And I'm really grateful for all of you to be here today. We're going to do a 15-minute show and we're going to talk about how to do successful crowdfunding raises. So we're going to popcorn around the room initially. I'm going to call on everybody in the space. They're going to do a quick intro and tell the thing that they think makes that most interesting. And then we'll see how it goes from there. I've got good high hopes. So thanks again for being here. And John, you get to kick us off.
Hi, John. I'm CEO of Fola Capital. We're a broker-dealer based in North Carolina. Uh, to answer the question about, what makes a successful Reg CF, I think it comes down to a plan, and part of that plan is the plan to raise the money. And we have found that the successful raises we've been associated with have kind of two rings to it, like rings of a tree. In the center ring, to steal Kathleen Minogue's word, is launch leaders. We got to know the people that are going to get us to our minimum target. And then the outer ring are people that don't know us that well or the company that well. Our story needs to tell the story and reach those people to achieve higher goals past our target. So that's a little piece of wisdom in 1 minute or less.
All right, terrific. Nicely done. So, Bill, let's see you top that. Go ahead. Give it your best shot. So,
All right, thank you. So my name is Bill Huston, and I'm the founder of CrowdMax Consulting and also the founding executive director at the Community Finance Academy. I believe, especially focused on financial activists and using Reg CF as a financial activism tool. I believe that it's really important that you are able in your narrative to really tell what the impact is going to be. The impact is going to be really, really important for people, and having that to inform the narrative, I think, is the most important thing.
great impact. So that's the core focus there. Okay,
Yes.
that sounds terrific. All right, Dorian, you're up next.
All right, thanks, Chris. I'm Dorian Dickinson. I'm the CEO of Funding Hope, an SEC registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal designed to help businesses that are addressing UN Sustainable Development Goals. And I believe that with the right story and preparation, successful campaigns can feel less like fundraising and more like community engagement and support.
So I love that piece, and that's one of the things I want to come back to community engagement because at NC3, that's definitely one of the big pieces for us. Thank you for that. Jackie.
Hi, pleasure to be here. My name's Jackie Logan, and I'm the Director of Climate Finance at Honeycomb Credit. Uh, I think what is incredibly important for crowdfunding success is number one, to be able to articulate the story of what people are investing in very clearly, and then connect that to a potential financial return. And then I will add one other thing is what is its impact on community, environment, et cetera. Because at the end of the day, much of crowdfunding investment is really what touches people. And you need to be able to communicate that. And lastly, I would say you got to want to do crowdfunding. I have found that the folks that are super excited about engaging their community, they get it. It's not sit back and forget it. And they really want to like tap into everything. They are the ones that will be most successful.
Great. Thanks, Jackie, for that. And David.
Hey, David Duccini, founder of Silicon Prairie, a collection of financial technology companies, broker-dealer, transfer agent, alternative trading system, and a crowd builder suite of tools. So first and foremost, right, crowdfunding, any kind of capital raising is a slow conversion of social capital into financial capital. This might be the first time someone's heard of you, right? So you have to think about stakeholder rewards, right? What's in it for them? And so then you want to take it through that journey, right? Not everyone's going to invest purely for financial motivations. There's about 20 motivations. So really, think long and hard about your audience, your intent, and your message. Don't post and pray. Don't make a generic ask. And plan on essentially really trying to resonate with the person, right? And think about solving their problems and not just your need for capital.
Great. Incredibly packed full of good stuff, very concisely done. Not easy to do. So I want to go back, Dorian, because I think it also is a thread through all the conversations. And so talk a little bit about that community piece and that engagement piece that you talk about as opposed to fundraising. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Community and storytelling is such a huge impact, such a huge part of being able to appeal to investors. Most of these are people that may only know you a bit by being a customer, or maybe not know you at all. So, storytelling really matters, of talking about how it blends in with the community and how you can get your message out. Continual engagement with your audience is going to be a big help.
Great. So I'd love to hear other perspectives on what Dorian has just said. And in fact, in specific, I would like to hear how you do that. So how do you stay engaged? We have to be thinking about impact, we have to be thinking about return. How do we say all those things to these folks? Some of whom are going to be physically in our same geography, but many who are not. So I'm curious, where do you see successful campaigns happening? So.
Yeah, I'll start. Look, I think building your community list, if you will, should start yesterday. So if indeed you're, building out an organization or a project and you think you're going to be need to raise capital, you need to start building that list now. The sooner you start doing that, the better. When you actually post that campaign, you will be in a very different position. And it's as simple as an email list.
Okay, great.
Customers often become those first investors. And this is their opportunity to turn that love for their business into ownership and really become brand ambassadors and supporters for that business beyond just being a customer.
So presuming we're not talking about a startup here, or looking at an existing customer base is a really good way to develop investors, right? That's what you're saying there, Dorian. So.
Existing customers are a great way to start because they're there. They've really become part of your business already. But if you're pre-revenue or you're a new founder or a new startup, it's the people you're engaging with. It's the people you've gone to show them your alpha or beta version, to get them involved, because that gives them that chance to get in on the ground floor and really help you build your vision.
Bill, you were popping in there.
Well, to piggyback on what Dorian said, absolutely. If you come to the table with a customer base of 15,000 people, that makes the raise a lot simpler if they're happy customers. That's been an experience of mine. So I definitely agree with that. One of the things that I was going to say to Jackie's point is starting yesterday, a client that I'm working with here in Louisville has been kind of toiling in the community for the last 15 years. And, as soon as we were up and ready to start testing the waters, people started coming out of the woodwork because they knew her, they trusted her, they liked her. They had seen the work that she had done as a private developer, developing her own kind of private things. It's a perfect storm here in Louisville because a lot of people are kind of fed up with the status quo, and they really see investment crowdfunding as kind of the next logical step in activism, in financial activism, that they don't have to just talk and complain, that they can actually start investing, start building portfolios of businesses here locally.
Great. Thanks for that.
Well, I think if I could add to that, I agree with everything that's been said, so I won't be repetitive. But if I could add to it, I believe in the 2% rule applies in everything. So if you look at angel investing, angel investors typically invest in 2% or less of all the companies that come pitch to them. Same with VCs. I think the same thing applies to crowdfunding. So if you want to raise X amount of money, you got to do the math, right? So it's a funnel. You got to build awareness and then turn some of those people into supporters. But there's a heck of a lot more supporters out there than there are investors. And oftentimes that's a challenge for most people, but it's no different than the challenges that you face in the more traditional ways of raising capital. So that's what I found to be true. It gets back to what I said about having a good plan and knowing where your first dollars are going to come from, because it's all about that 2% conversion and 2%. So I think that's very important.
Great. That's terrific. David.
Yeah, I'd say one of the other things to keep in mind is that, when you're raising capital, right, it's for the business, right? So you want to obviously, connect with people on your product and service, but pitching an investment is very different than pitching your product or service, right? So of course you might have an amazing product or service, but the reality is this: somebody may not come to your restaurant and try your delicious soup. What your investor cares about is when you break even and open your next location, right? So pitching, you need to, sure, you want to talk about the amazing product or service, right? But you need to talk about the amazing investment opportunity. And to that point, there's three things we like to look for, right? A clear, easy plan. One, does the issuer, right, the person raising money, do they have a clear need for capital? Do you have an easy to understand business model, explains how you do or will make money? And lastly, three, do you have some plan to return that capital to your investors, right? We call it the sociopath test, right? If they're not willing to ask their own friends and family for money, they don't get to ask mine.
Particularly interested in a word that that came up in the last responses, and that word is trust. So I'm wondering, how do you see, because we're conducting a lot of this remotely, we're conducting it via social media, emails, that kind of thing. So how do we get to the trust piece? Because it seems to be really critical. People are taking a flyer on us, right? And how do we do that? 2 minutes left. So
Yeah, I really believe it starts with transparency, where you have clear terms, you're showing your financials, and you have a real clear use of funds, is what's going to build that credibility for your business and give you that opportunity to build the trust with the audience that you don't know yet. Transparency is the key.
okay. And what else?
Along with that, transparency is showing up, being present, being out there, showing your face, being willing to get on webinars and answer tough questions and let people know that you are a real person, that you don't know everything, and if you don't know something, you're going to find the answer to it and get back to them.
Great. David.
I'm going to say social reference credibility. So not everyone you ask is going to be in a position to invest, right? But here's a lost opportunity that most founders sort of miss out on, is that, they forget to ask their first degree connections for a referral, right? So people will first invest in you because they know, like, and trust you. And your second wave, they don't know you, but they know someone who does know, like, and trust you. But again, you have to make the ask, and then, you make another ask, and that's when you ask for a referral, right? So you can leverage that socially referenced credibility.
I'm curious, I'd love to ask the group, do we think there's certain modes of communication with crowdfunding that are particularly important, that builds trust and that comes along with transparency? Is there anything that you have found that you think is, in terms of getting the message out and bringing people to the table to invest, that you think is important? My feeling is that email is a very strong, we have found email is, with your list, is a very strong way to get folks onto your page and potentially invest.
A short answer to Jackie's good question. So Dorian, I'll start with you.
I think that all investments carry risk, and I think we need to work closely with founders to be able to help them penetrate their community and be able to have a successful raise.
Great. Bill?
I think that webinars, Q&A webinars, webinars with the lead investor are powerful because people get to see you in an authentic way.
Terrific. John?
Yeah, I think there's no one silver bullet, but I will tell you this is one thing we've learned. It depends on the amount of the check size. So if somebody's given $50 to a brewery down the street, that's like an email transaction in my experience. If someone's asking for check sizes of 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 and up, we have found face-to-face event type environments, like when you're in a bar, you rent it out and you invite the public in to listen to your story. That's when they write the bigger checks.
Terrific. And David, last word.
I'm
Yeah,
taking
I'd say
by the way.
Sorry, Jackie.
Go ahead, David. No, go ahead, David. You get the last word.
Okay. So the last word, it's generational is the short answer, right? So, it's really going to depend again on that audience and the intent and message, right? So Gen X likes an email, Gen Y and Z might like a text message, and your boomers will want to have essentially the steak dinner somewhere, possibly. So.
Terrific. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Really great stuff. This is gold because you guys know what you're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.